Yeah. Cold shit. I ain't come with goons, but I'm well connected. Walk in the room, is pop, 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 like you got rejected. Let me see if you qualify or not. Spinning up in a tinted truck, riding around your block. Busy man. I get a word, he ain't this shit from top to bottom like a motherfucking ceiling fan. Hopping out the rental van, on my way to LAX. Brothers out in Cali and they killers out of every set. But I ain't crippin' on no blood. One West, all my niggas got it out the mud. Put your face on a t-shirt, memory of niggas acting tough in them songs, that's with the drugs. I don't need no cases, all my pistols clean. So now I weigh my options, used to use the triple beam. Used to get the wok, mix it with the nicotine. Now I travel state to state and put on for my team.
The fuck wrong with them? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get them. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Keep the Glockin' with me, it was like a ball with them. Me at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody. Cut the grass for the snake, fuck the gossip. Front line with them soldiers, that's my posture. Gun drawn, trying to curse the imposter. Shit get out the pocket, go to war with everybody, yeah. Shit that hate, make it to the featherweights. Niggas claim they hard, but they sweeter than a dedication. Hold on, think it's time to introduce. I'm a man and a beast and a stepper and a roller. Hold on, and a G and a soldier and a mover. Hold on, and a killer and a prophet and a shooter, nigga. Try to stay humble, my shit crazy. Cold leader, need the blue stripes, no brick back. Can't be serious, you a funny boy, young fly. Look wrong, must be a dummy, I ain't gun shy. Fuck that little bitch, she a hook. Niggas swear he the go, bring him to the bush. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. Niggas in their feelings, I don't feel them. Keep the Glockin' with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody.
I'm from Philly, it get hot, you catch a cold case. I'm one West, these brothers trying to set my soul straight. They done turned me to a prophet from a demon, and I'm locked in this shit and I ain't leaving. Ski mask transform to war mode like I'm Voltron. Stamp on my head and my chest from the most high. Put something tight around your neck like a bow tie. Got my niggas waiting charged up like they phone died.
Red letter, drip clean, it looks so fly. Claim me riding, that's why I left his ass roadside. He gon' die, skyscraper to a nosedive. 9mm plus P, fuck a 4-5. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Keep the Glockin' with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody.
Fuck what them bitches gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gon' miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like that, man. Niggas, she know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Respect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' the different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to back men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we sold you. You can take that to the bank, we focus on. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some break off, but never take up as a place. When the law with with you, ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and general, YAHANNA, we unaffiliated with them. Like with they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. We unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better hide the women, hide the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't butt the system. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we special now with the scriptures. Play, we gon' screw. Yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The only slide that I know about is when I assemble the group with the slide on. Real, I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. Kill. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wetter by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like, bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like. My nigga like, them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and general, YAHANNA, we unaffiliated with them. Like with they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. Yeah.
Okay,
I've been in my Bible lately. You understand me? Like, shit crazy out here.
World said fuck us, so we said fuck the world.
You know,
the world said fuck us,
Matthew 24:13.
so we said fuck the world.
He that shall endure to the end.
The world said fuck us,
Shall be
so we
saved.
said fuck the world.
Fuck the world.
The world don't love us,
No.
so we said fuck the world.
Look, I know your kinfolk gone, but hold on. I know them lanes ain't on, but hold on. Look, even if you feel you got nothing to hold on, I got a message. God said hold on to your sanity. I know you in a position that you ain't planned to be. With our lives, we're not addicted to gambling. You feel the pressure and the thoughts in your head are scrambling. You feel the storm getting closer. You feel like giving up before you even start, then it's over. You feeling like fuck it, you going through too much to be sober. Life is passing you by as you do this over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over. Time to make a change now. Instead of that, you fall a victim to the same now. Starting to find out that this life is not a game now. Back against the wall, couldn't run as the poor man screamed to the top of his lungs.
World said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world don't love us, so we said fuck the world.
For real, look. Cover your eyes, don't wanna see the blood on the leaves. Bodies of eyes innocently hanging from trees, floating in screens, blood in the water, blood on the altar. Still don't believe justice is coming. Heavenly Father, did not Christ say vengeance is mine? Don't even bother. When he return, it's gonna be slaughter. Ooh, I know you don't wanna face it, but what's real love sound like hatred. And you gotta be fucking crazy if you think they gon' get away with killing all them babies, speeding feeding them the alligators. All the women that was raped, the transatlantic slave trade made us build a nation that we can't partake in. School to prison, pipeline, mass incarceration. All the lives that's been taken, hated to love it. You only talk about forgiveness cause we never get justice. I think you really reluctant. I remember hearing a hood nigga say all the shit he would've done if he was living during slavery. Look what's going on today, and you ain't doing a damn thing but putting shame on your ancestors' name. But who's to blame? All these drugs, pills, weed, beans, and lean and cocaine. I get the feeling that we living in a big dope game.
The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world don't love us, so we said fuck the world.
This is Wix Studio, built to meet any brief. When your project calls for bold creativity, design freely on
Backroll.
Send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes. That's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Riches on the gram. Dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket. Burner in the low jacket. My co-captain. Riding on these whole rappers, my hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it do for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta got my heart, grip my bow tie. Waiting on this war been my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in this war been my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably put in this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani. My wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on the face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s, we see in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. It's that guy flow, it's that shit that rappers die for. It's that uncut Tahoe Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making a hop hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. The king, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know lie. Gotta go my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the stove in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know life. Gotta go my heart with my bow tie. Living in the stove in my whole life. My whole life. I will wait.
Dirty Bird.
Buck roll.
Not no more. It's shocking.
I will wait.
Yeah. I've been feeling how I'm feeling like. Fuck how niggas feeling, I've been waiting my turn. Walking through the pits of hell, still feeling the burn. At 3 in the morning when I'm tossing and turning. Shorty gripping me tight, tell me it'll be alright. I'm gripping the pistol, having visions of death. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of death. I'm in the alleys, it's a scully on tilt. I'm ready, pull his homie, conflicted in heart. Spent too much time in the midst of the dark. I'm itching in this truth just to play my part. On a Saturday in the depths of the dark, where the zombies walk. Times Square, let the scriptures bark, and the generals talk. Fishing for that young man or the princess he called before the reapers involved. Show your chariots, Lord, dead in the middle of their war. Let your trumpets blow, revelations reveal. Let the sky crack wide, show the color of Christ. Let me watch the descent before I enter my chamber. Allow me to enter the chamber, see the truth is amazing. Hoping, wishing, and praying. I earn my place in the kingdom, plant my feet on the pavement. Put my brick in them chasing for the crown of this promise. For that crown of this promise.
Right, sure
144.
Sure is. We wait for instructions and orders in these truths, man. Wise man once told me seek counsel. Never rely on your own understanding. It's not. It's UPK, the heart different. Black on black boots ain't forces to walk different. Muscle energy, the 1,000 to spark different. And learned about the scriptures from generals taught different. Game bred pit with grip, the bark different. Priests and officers, we captains to talk different. Proper side of the wind, and I endure to the end. Strapped cause niggas rock Christ and ain't nothing to him, but check it. In your city, we them niggas on the corner. And all black changed men that put away the former. We militant, disciplined as niggas that's in order. We shield swinging off our neck and fringes on the borders. Born rugged in these streets, learned the codes and the politics. And I ain't wait for the Lord, he got me out of it. Hood nigga, hard knock alumni with scholarship. Big Glock was up on my hip, up in them colleges. And you ain't saved if you a Christian and you waiting on it. Heaven not by observation, go and take that moment. Cause your faith is in your work while you debating on it. I'm enduring to the end, this Glock ain't got no safety on it.
Turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round here, spin shit.
Shalom, Israel. ISUPK coming out of 1 West Hall, New York, 125th Street, under Commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we're bringing out the truth that so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians are the true children of Israel per the Bible. I'm your priest and officer, Yahshua, bringing it to you today for the day live, Lashawan Qadash. Today you're going to start learning the Hebrew, so that way you'll be better prepared for not only on the Sabbath day when you start joining the Sabbath service, for whenever you're able to be online or physically at the school for a holy convocation, a feast day, or a high holy day. You'll be able to speak the prayers with us. You'll be, and this is also to make you a better priest as well moving forward. It is essential that we all eventually learn the Hebrew language, because at some point in history, this was the only way that we communicated as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. As a matter of fact, let's see. There's scriptures about the Lashawan Qadash. Let's see. There's actually scriptures in the Bible about our that gives context to our language. And again, at one point, this was the only language that we spoke. So this is how Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians communicated with one another before the integration of the white man and their laws. Before they shoved their laws down our throats and forced us to learn their language, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians had their own native tongue. Just like how when you go to Russia, they have their own dialect and their own language where they speak Russian. Same thing when you go to Germany, same thing when you go to Switzerland. They all have their own native tongue with which how they communicate. You understand? Technically, it's all gibberish. I'm going to be honest with you. It's technically all gibberish. Now, the Lashawan Qadash is the original language. And the scriptures that tell you that is the oldest language of the people. You understand? Before there was any other language, there was Hebrew. And this is how we communicated to one another. When we greeted our brothers, it was Shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah. And to the sisters, it was Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Alathem, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Tadakwathia. However, what they try to do to debunk the Bible or try to, steer Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians away from it, or they try to say, oh, well, the letter J or whatever the case may be wasn't a part of that, the alphabet until 1600s or whatever you want to call it. Like, technically, who made the English alphabet? Let's be real here. Who made the English alphabet? Did that come from the English, or did that come from Greek and Latin? Let's look it up. Before I go to the scriptures, right? You asked the correct question. Yeah. English. Let's see what Google says. Now it says the English language spoken in America today is rooted in Old English, which originated in England. Specifically, it evolved from the Germanic languages brought to Britain Anglo-Saxon tribes in the 5th century AD. This Old English then evolved further into Middle English and later into early modern English. The language eventually made its way to the Americas through British colonization. And it says Old English, this was the earliest form of language spoken by the Anglo-Saxon tribes who settled in Britain, Middle English. This stage developed after the Norman conquest of 1066 and was influenced by the French. Early modern English. This stage emerged in the 16th century and continued to evolve. American English. As British colonists settled in America, they brought their English language, which then evolved into the distinct form we know today. And that's where the English language originates from. Okay. And if I forgot to shout out the chat, shout out to young man Hector that's in the chat, always faithfully in class. Beautiful thing. Shout out to Hamza Rafiq that just checked into the class. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the sister. Shalom Yahweh Shema Them Bashim Yahweh. You know, now that's where the English language derived from, right? Now let's see where the original Hebrew language originates from. Now, it says the original Hebrew language, or at least its earliest attested forms, derived from the Canaanite language group, which is part of a larger Semitic family of languages. This Canaanite language, which is believed to have been spoken by the Israelites and other groups in the Levant, evolved into the Hebrew language we know today. The Canaanite group is considered a West Semitic language with roots in northern Africa and southern Africa. The Canaanite origins. Hebrew, as we understand it from the Bible and other historical records, is the dialect of Canaanite. This means it shared a common ancestor with other Canaanite languages such as Phoenician, right? It says Semitic family. Canaanite and thus Hebrew is a member of the Semitic language family, a large group of languages spoken across the Middle East, North Africa, and the Horn of Africa. Other Semitic languages include Arabic, Aramaic, and Akkadian. Historical continuity. There's a clear connection between the language of the El Amarna letters, which are cuneiform tablets from before the Israelites settled in Canaan, and the Hebrew language as we know it. Evolution and development. Over time, Hebrew evolved and developed its own characteristics, influenced by factors like the Israelites, monotheistic beliefs, their interactions with other cultures, and the development of their own written tradition. And it goes on to say other stuff or whatever, how it's influenced, right? Now let's ask, is the Hebrew language the oldest language that exists? See, it's good to get a good emphasis in history on the Hebrew language in its entirety, right? Because you have to study its history and study its origin in order to study the language itself and how to speak it correctly. Because in today's class, we're going to go over the Hebrew alphabet as well. Let's see. It's not giving me an accurate. All right, screw it. So, Hebrew is a very, very important language for the Israelites because, again, like I said, this is how, as Israelites, this is how we communicated throughout the land of Egypt, throughout the land of Israel, traveling throughout the other lands, or even when we were punished by the Most High and sent among the heathens in other lands like the land of Samaria. You understand? And throughout these lands, this is how we communicated as a people. Just like how every other nation has their own native tongue in which how they communicate, this is how we communicate as Israelites. Now, in the scriptures, it also gives us background about the language as well. If we go to the book of 2 Kings, chapter 18, verse 26, it says, "Then said Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and Shebna, and Joah, unto Rabshakeh, speak, I pray thee, to the servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and talk not with us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. Now, for a complete breakdown, I'll refer to my camp leader, but I brought this scripture out to give you background on the language because this is part of the history of our people, the Lashawan Qadash, which means the Hebrew language. You understand? And like I said, it's good to know the history and the background of the language so you can further know, moving forward. Best way. All right, it's like knowing where you came from so you can know where you're going moving towards the future. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if that makes sense. Like, because sometimes we as people, we move around in life without having any background, any history, not knowing where we came from. We got a lot of children that was adopted, don't know their own background, own family background, anything like that. So, with that being said, it's good to know your history, which is why I teach history on Mondays as well. And it's also good to know your background in the language that you speak as well. Just like our Hispanic brothers and sisters. If they study the background of their dialect, they'll understand that the Spanish language doesn't even belong to them. They used to speak Hebrew as well. If we go to the book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 2, it says, "And we then heard that he spake in a Hebrew tongue to them. They kept the more silent, and he saith," verse 3, "I am verily a man which am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous toward God, and ye all are this day." Now, what he's telling you is he's giving you a backdrop of where he came from, how he was brought up and raised, and how he was taught the language. And it said he was taught according to the perfect manner of the law, because the law is perfect. Because the law, this is why I said what I said in Kashaka Wars class yesterday during scripture breakdown. If we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we don't know of sin unless it speaks about it in the scriptures, because we're not sinning. So we don't know what sin is unless we learn about it in the Bible. Because the Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill." So if I kill, I transgress against the Bible. "Thou shalt not steal." If I steal, I transgress against the Bible. "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife." So I know if I sleep with my brother's wife, I'm committing adultery. This is why the scriptures say you won't know sin or lust or greed unless you know the law. Because by knowing the law, you're automatically going to know what not to do, because it's going to teach you what to do. And if you don't do that, then you're transgressing, which is why the law is perfect. The Hebrew language just takes time. It just takes time and repetition to learn. It's going to take time for us to learn this language, right? But we will learn it over time. Now, if y'all ready to get started, let me switch cameras. Bear with me. Let me see if I can get some zoom in action. All right, y'all bear with me. Let me see if I can get some more light, better light on it, so you can see what I'm teaching here. be able to. Y'all put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you can see that top row. I'm putting the light on the best I can, and I still got to be able to stand up to it, right? Now we want to start with the first letter, right? The first letter in the Hebrew alphabet is Ah. Ah. A-H. Ah. In the Hebrew, it means a lot. A-H-L-A-P. Ah, la, and then pa. Take the A off. So it's a lot. Ah, la, a lot. Right? See, even when we break the alphabet down, you're still using the alphabet to spell the actual Hebrew word. And then I'll give you the English text to it. So ah means a lot in the Hebrew. A lot. A-H-L-A-P. A la pa. A lot. Which means cow in the English. Which means cow in the English. So ah, which is a lot in the Hebrew, which means cow in English. So a lot. Ah. All right. Next letter. Ba. B-A. Ba. Ba in the Hebrew, which means boyath. B-O-Y-A-T-H. Boyath. 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 Ba means boyath in the Hebrew. In the English, that means tent. Jacob was the tent dweller. Right? When Jacob and Esau was born, Esau was a skilled and cunning hunter. Jacob dwelled in a tent. He was a tent dweller. He liked to kick back and relax. As a matter of fact, let me pull that precept. Bear with me. I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth between cameras. Right. So Ba, which means boyath in the Hebrew, right? Boyath in the Hebrew, that means tent in the English, right? So remember Ba, B-A, and then next to Ba you put boyath, B-O-Y-A-T-H. That's boyath. And the English term for boyath means tent. Now the scripture for that is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, meaning Jacob was a regular brother. He didn't do nothing crazy, He liked to back and relax. Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. He liked to kick back, relax, enjoy life, enjoy the weather, and do what he do. You understand? And keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now, Isaac loved Esau for his reasons, and Rebekah, which was the mother, she loved Jacob. Each parent loved their child. But just to give you background on the Hebrew word. Now remember, ba means boyath, which means tent. You know what? Let me write the Hebrew, the Assyrian letter next to it too. Oh, I forgot something. Spot. All right. Now I'm gonna switch cameras back. Bear with me. Turn this light up some more. I should be able to see it clearly now. So remember, means a lot in the Hebrew. A lot, A-H-L-A-P. In the English term, that means cow. And next to cow is the Assyrian letter of the Hebrew letter Ah. That's how it looks in the Assyrian. Make sure you write that down in your notes. Next letter up is Ba. Ba means boyath in the Hebrew, B-O-Y-A-T-H, boyath. In the English term means tent, like Jacob was a tent dweller. Next to tent is the Assyrian letter for the Hebrew word Ba. Make sure you write that in your notes. Next letter up is Ga. Ga. G-A. Ga. The Hebrew word for Ga is Gamal. G-A-M-A-L. Ga, Ma, and La, but you take the A off. So it's Gamal. Ga, Ma, and La. So it's Gamal in the Hebrew. And the English word for that is camel. The English word for Gamal under Ga is camel. Next to camel is the Assyrian letter for the letter Ga in Hebrew. The Hebrew word Ga, that's the Assyrian letter next to camel. So far, we've covered Ah, Ba, Ga. Even when you break down the Hebrew alphabet, it still sounds like bars. Ah, Ba, Ga. Ah for Alap, which means cow in the English. Alap is the Hebrew word for Ah. For Ba, the Hebrew word is boyath, and the English word means tent. For Ga is Gamal, which means camel in the English. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can set precept for Alap in the Hebrew. Slocky, bear with me, Israel. I'm trying to break down everything properly for you. Slocky, Israel. Let's see. All right. Don't sweat. Don't sweat. So far, let's see. We're up to God, which is Gamal in the Hebrew. The English word is camel. And next to camel is the Assyrian letter for it. All right. Oh, Most High Christ. Shalom, y'all. Shema, Themba, Shem, y'all, Shah, sister. Renah from East Carolina. Most High Christ. Let's see y'all checking in, man. Come get this Hebrew, man. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got the next letter, Da. D-A. Da. D-A for Da. The Hebrew word for Da is Dalath. D-A-L-A-T-H. When you break it down, it's Da, La, and Tha. Just the A is removed from the end for context. Moving forward, I'll break down each word moving on, and show you the grammar side of it to where why the extra letter is removed for context. It's just like when you're learning nouns, verbs, adjectives, things like that. Like how certain English words, certain letters are silent. It's like the P is silent in the word pneumonia. Like how the G is silent in the word lasagna. The A is silently removed in the word dalath. Just like the A is removed in boyath. Or the A is removed in alap. Or how the A is removed in gamal. Because it's God, Ma, La, but it's gamal. God, G-A-M-A, and then the L to complete the M-A. So it's gamal. So you won't pronounce it Gamala is Gabal for camel. And D is Da. Da. The Hebrew word for Da is Dalath. D-A-L-A-T-H. And the English word for Dalath is door. Door. And next to door is the Assyrian letter for Da. Make sure y'all write that down. As you're going on and learning the Hebrew, you'll start understanding certain words that's said in the Hebrew or certain prayers. You understand? Like you'll start learning more and more as you go on studying the Lashawan Qadash. This is why the Hebrew language is very important for us as Israelites to learn. Just like how if you're Spanish and you grow up in a Spanish household, you're automatically going to learn Spanish growing up. You understand? You're automatically going to learn it. You got that? Y'all wrote it. I hope I wrote that down. That's Da, which is Dalath, Dalath, which means door in English. And that's the Assyrian letter that spelled how you spell the letter in Assyrian. Because for each Hebrew letter, there's a Hebrew symbol. For each Hebrew symbol, there is an Assyrian letter for it as well. These are just the Hebrew word, the Hebrew alphabet, the Hebrew word, the English definition, and the Hebrew way of how you spell the word in the Hebrew. So you're not writing out you'll write out the symbol that's next to cow, and that's how you write it in the Hebrew. Same as Ba. As we go further, I'll teach you the Assyrian breakdown for each letter as well. So that's Da, Dalath, which means door in the English. The next letter up, Ha. Ha. So now we have A, Ba, Ga, Da, and now we're going to Ha. See, it is almost like a melody, learning the Hebrew alphabet. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha. You follow? Ha. The Hebrew word for Ha is Hana. Hana. N-H-A and A-H. So it would be Ha, Na, Ha, but you remove the A. So it's Hana, which means here in the English. Hana in the Hebrew means here in English. I'll give y'all a few minutes to make sure y'all write these down, because I'm going to erase the board, clear the board, and start the next set of letters. I'll give you a couple of moments to write it down. But the next word is Ha for Hana. Hana in the Hebrew means here in English. So that's A for Alak. Alak means cow. Ba in the Hebrew means Moyath. Moyath in the English means tent. Ga in the Hebrew means Gamal. Gamal in the English means camel. Da in the Hebrew means Dalath. Dalath in the English means door. Ha in the Hebrew means Hana. Hana in the English means here. Now make sure y'all write that down. I'm about to start the next set of words. All right, y'all bear with me, Israel, while I get these next set of letters written up. with me, Israel. Be right back with y'all momentarily. Okay. Now. Okay. Right back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, Israel. And I made a brief error on the letters, on the Hebrew lettering, but don't even worry about that. In another class, I'm going to run down the entire alphabet and how you're supposed to write it from right to left and not left to right. Because when you read Hebrew, the original way that we read is right to left. And in America, they taught us to read left to right. But everything in the Hebrew is right to left. When you read the Hebrew in the Bible, everything is right to left. So when I write the alphabet out for you on the board in its entirety, you're going to read it from right to left. It'll take some time and adjustment, but I believe in y'all, and I believe y'all could do it. Because it took me time to learn that my damn self. So don't feel bad if you don't get it right at first. It'll take time. All right, Israel. On to the next one. I hope y'all can take your notes. I hope y'all writing this stuff down. But we're going right through it, all right? And if I can give you biblical breakdowns for some of these words or terms so that way you can have a proper understanding with it, I got you. Right on up. All right, Israel. The next word is Wa. Wa. W-A. The word in the Hebrew is Wa. You know, like the gas station Wawas. Same thing. Wa in the Hebrew is Wawa. Wawa in the English means fishing hook. So you might want to use that term like if you're out fishing. When you say, hand me the wawa, or if you want to get slick, you can say, you know, or the person that you're speaking to say, they can say, hana wawa, which means here, fishing hook. Like, here's the fishing hook. So you putting the words together, you'll start learning how to speak in the Hebrew. Like when you say, hand me the fishing hook, like when you say, because we get to it, but I don't want to skip because the word yad, which is yad, that's further down. We'll get to that, but I'm just giving you a breakdown of his hand. So when you say yad wawa, that means the hand of fishing hook. So when I say hana wawa, that means here, fishing hook. You get what I'm saying? Like you'll start learning once you get the hang of the alphabet, you'll start learning how to use the words in unison to where you'll be able to start forming sentences, and then you'll be able to start speaking. You understand? But yeah, wa, which means wawa in the Hebrew, which means fishing hook in the English. Next to fishing hook is the actual symbol for wa. I put it previously. I missed the symbol on the last one. That's why I said don't worry about the symbols. I don't want y'all to make any mistakes. So what I'm gonna tell you is don't write the symbols down. When I do a class and I'm going over the alphabet and I got all the alphabet written out on the board with the symbols and the Assyrian next to it, you'll be able to get a full grasp of everything. You know, maybe I'll do that for the next class, but for right now, we're just going over the basics. But wa, which is wawa, which is fishing hook in the English. The next word, za, Z-A, za. So far we covered a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, and now we're saying za. So it's a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. Now you see how it's starting to be a melody when you put it together? A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. You know, once you get the hang of it, it becomes easy. But za in the Hebrew is zayan. Z, za, ya, and then na, remove the A. So it's zayan. Z-A-Y-A-N in the Hebrew. In the English, it means weapon. Weapon. So when you say Yad Zayan, hand the weapon. You say Hana Zayan, hand weapon. You understand? You start learning how to put the letters in context. For Za, which is Zayan in the Hebrew, and the English definition is weapon. Za for Zayan. Zayan in the English means weapon. Next letter up, Ka. C-H-A-A. Ka. Gotta practice saying it because you got Ka and you got Ka with the K at the bottom. You understand? So you gotta know how to enunciate your letters. So it's Abba, Gada, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka. You gotta put a little ha. Gotta put a little hawk on the Ka. You know? But Ka in the Hebrew is Kawamah. C-H-A-A-W-A-M-A-H. When you break it down, it's Ka, C-H-A-A, Wa, W-A, Ma, M-A, and Ha, which you remove the A for grammar context. So it's Ka, Ma, Wa, Ma, Kawama. You understand? And the English definition for Kawama is fence. So it's ka. The Hebrew word for ka is kawama. And the English definition for ka is fence. Fence. Make sure y'all writing this down because I might quiz y'all next week. So y'all make sure y'all that those that's tuned in, like young man Hector, you know what I mean? Sister Joanne, I hope you write these down. Sister your Pa Renah, I hope you write these down. I might quiz you. But yeah, Kawama, which means fence in the English. Ka in the Hebrew is Kawama, and fence is the English definition. Give y'all a minute to write that down, and we'll start the next letter. All right, Israel. I'm going to start the next letter. The next letter is Ta. Ta. T-A. Ta. Now, this way it gets a little tricky when you pronounce the Hebrew word for ta. All right, walk with me now. Ta in the Hebrew is Tana'al. Ta-na-al. Tana'al. You understand? T-A-N-A-A-L. Now, in this situation, the other A would be ah, but the H is removed, and the A for la is removed. So it's ta, na, ah, remove the H, and ah, and la, remove the A. You understand? For grammatical correction. So it's tana'al. Ta in the Hebrew is tana'al. The English word for tana'al is basket. The English word for tana'al is basket. Ta, T-A. Now remember, I tell you it's tricky when you say tana'al because it's ta, na, and then ah, but the H is not there, and la, but the A is not there. So when you bridge it together, it's tana'al. Ta-na'al, which means basket in the English. Basket. I'm gonna give y'all another moment to make sure y'all write that down correctly. Like I said, don't worry about the Hebrew symbols next to it. When I do the next week, when I do the full alphabet and write it all out, I'll make sure you have the letter, the symbol, and the Assyrian symbol to go with it. I'll teach the full chart. But for right now, we're going to rock out just like this. So it's Ta, T-A, which is Tana'al in the Hebrew. And the English word is basket. I give y'all another moment to write that down and we get to the next word. So far from the alphabet, that's A, B, G, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta. And the further we move through the alphabet, you see, it's almost like you're singing a song. You understand? It's almost like you're spitting lyrics. A, B, G, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta. You get what I'm saying, Israel? It's almost like you're spitting lyrics as you go through it and you learn it. and then you learn its meaning. You learn the words that go with it, and then eventually, boom, now you're speaking the language just from using the letters. But then you're going to actually learn other words that's in the Hebrew and how it's put together through the alphabet, and you'll know the breakdown. All right, Israel. Next letter up is Yah. Yah. Y-A. Yah. Now, Yah in the Hebrew, we already went over it, but we're going over it again, right on time. Yah means Yad. Yad. Yada. But the A is removed, so it's Yad. Yad means hand. So when they say in the Hebrew, Yad Karab, that means hands of war. You understand, Israel? When they say Yad Karab, that means hands of war. So Yah is Yad in the Hebrew. The English word for Yad is hand. Yah is Yad in the Hebrew. The English definition for Yad is hand. So far in the alphabet, we covered Ah, which is A-H. Ah is Alak in the Hebrew. Alak in the English means cow. Ba in the Hebrew is Boyath. Boyath, which means tent in the English. Boyath. Slovakia. Correction is B-A-Y-A-T-H. Boyath. Not Boyath, it's Boyath. Boyath is tent in the English. Ga, which is Gamal. G-A-M-A-L. Gamal in the Hebrew. And the English word for Gamal is camel. Da, D-A. The Hebrew word for Da is Dalath. D-A-L-A-T-H. And the English definition for Da is door. Ha in the Hebrew, H-A. The Hebrew word for Ha is Hana. The English word for Hana is here. Wa in the Hebrew is Wawa. The English definition for Wawa in the English is fishing hook. Za in the Hebrew means Zayan. Zayan in the English means weapon. Ka in the Hebrew is Kawamath. Kawama. The English word for Kawama is fence. Ta in the Hebrew is Tana'al. And the English word for Tana'al is basket. Yah means yad in the Hebrew. English definition of yad is hand. So far we've covered A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, and Yah. Now, again, Israel, this is why I tell you it gets tricky. Now we go to Ka. Now, the C-H-A-A was Ka, with a little accent on it, but now it's Ka. K-A. Ka. Ka in the Hebrew means cop, like cop. Cat. K-A-P. Cat. Similar to stop the cat, but this is in Hebrew. Cat. Now this has this word in the Hebrew can be used in two different ways. Now you're going to have some words that have double meanings for context. It all depends on the context. Now, cap in the Hebrew can mean palm. You understand? Like kap yad, palm of your hand. You understand? Or depending on the context, you could say yad kap, like hand me the spoon. So kop could mean either spoon or it could mean palm. It all depends on the context. This is why it's important that we study the Hebrew language and we learn the context as well as the content. You understand? We have to learn how these words is used to know how to properly use them ourselves. But ka is kop in the Hebrew, and kop means either palm or spoon in the English. As palm or spoon in the English. So far we've covered ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka. It's almost like I'm spitting a verse here, Israel. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, Israel. I'll give y'all another minute to copy that down, and then I'll set the next set of letters up for you, and we'll get that squared away. All righty. There we go. All right. All right, Israel. Now, y'all bear with me a moment. I'll get the next set of letters up. I'll be right back with you. Bear with me, Israel. All right. Israel. Let me see. What else? What else did I have? All right. Now, another brief history lesson. Now, so far we've gone halfway through the alphabet, right? We've covered A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, and now we got the next step. Now, just to show you that, to further show you that the Lashawan Qadash is in the Bible, right? I already gave y'all 2 Kings 18 and 26. Now I'm going to give you Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 4. It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 4. And before this, Eliashib, the priest, having the good oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was alive unto Tobiah. Now, this is just a little backdrop of the priest at the time. And also, this get, like I said, this is how we communicated as a people, right? We communicated through not just the scripture, but through the Lashawan Qadash. Because just like how we go to other countries and they speak another language, how do we know their language unless we learn their dialect? Same thing, no matter where you go in this world. Just like when they come over here to America, they've got to learn the English language if they want to move around a little bit. But that's anywhere you go. You study the language of the native tongue of that land. You understand? Now, okay, that's why it was 13 and 24. I went to 13 and 4. It's 13 and Slovakia. It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 24. Slovakia. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. Now, what this is saying is, again, we have our own native tongue. Now, it said, and their children speak half in the speech of Ashdod, meaning they spoke some of the language that Ashdod spoke and could not speak of the Jew language. Because, here, let me help you out. I'm going to go up one verse. Verse 23, it said, in those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. Now, if you don't know who the tribe of Moab is, the tribe of Moab are the Chinese. They're the original tribe of the Chinese, right? Ammon, if I'm not mistaken, because I know Ishmael is the father of the Arabics. Ammon. Let me look it up. Bear with me, Israel. I want to be correct. I could go back on my notes, but I gotta. not telling me that way. Slack Israel, just bear with me because again, I like to make sure and not and I like to make sure, trick to make sure. So let me. Here we go. I'll tell you right here. Got it. Gotta bounce around a little bit, but you find what you need. Now let's see. Tribe of Ammon. All right. I don't want to take up too much of the class time for time's sake. So basically, Ammon is a tribe that's not of the Jews. Neither was Moab. Lot originates from the tribe of Moab, right? However, Lot, the children of Moab come from Lot. Lot's the progenitor of the Chinese people. Now, the one thing that made Lot unlawful was when they left the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, his daughters didn't know of man. So they thought all of mankind they thought it was the end of the world when they were in the wilderness for a brief time. So what they did was they got Lot drunk and slept with Lot and had babies by Lot, which was their father. And that's began incest. So even though Lot didn't do it knowingly because he was drunk and passed out, his daughters did that to him. That made him an outcast to the Most High. He wasn't considered a righteous man anymore. You understand? All right. I'm trying to get back to this. All right, Israel. Back to the next set of words. All right, next letter up is La. L-A. La. The word in the Hebrew is lamad. La ma da. With the A's removed, so it's L-A-M-A-D. Lamad. That's L-A-M-A-D. Lamad. And the English word for lamad is learn. It's way better. All right. And change that lighting angle so you can see the bottom of the board. So that's La in the Hebrew. La is lamad in the Hebrew. And the English definition of lamad is learn in the English. So that's Abba, Gada, Hawa, Za, Ka. So that's Abba, Gada, Hawa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, and now La. La is lamad in the Hebrew. And the word in the English for that is learn. I'll give y'all a second to write it down. Move on to the next word. right, Israel. Next word up is Ma. M-A. Ma. You know, like you call your mom and I was like, Ma. Ma. M-A. The Hebrew word for Ma is Mayam. That's M-A-Y-A-M. Mayam. Now, if you broke it down, you would put Ma, Ya, Ma. But you take the A off for context or for grammar. So it's Mayam. M-A-Y-A-M. Mayam. And the English definition of Mayam is water. So when you want to ask for water in the Hebrew, you say Mayam. So I would say Hana Mayam, like here, water. Ma is Mayam in the Hebrew, and the English definition is water. Give y'all a second to write that down, and then we get to the next letter. So that's Abba, Gada, Hawa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma. Hey, it's almost like I'm spinning bars here. All right, Israel. Next letter up is Na. You know, similar to the English alphabet where you go L-M-N. But yeah, so, but it's Na, N-A, Na. And the Hebrew word for Na is Nawan. Nawan, N-A-W-A-N. Now, if you break it down, it's Na, Wa, Na. But the A is removed for grammatical correction. So it's Nawan, N-A-W-A-N, Nawan in the Hebrew. And the English word for Nawan is sprout in the English. Sprout. Na means Nawan in the Hebrew, and the English definition is sprout. Like the Hebrew word shamar, shamar means watch or watchman. So you would say shamar mayan nawan, which means watch the water sprout. Like watch the water sprout out of the ground or out of the tap or out of the hose. Shamar mayan nawan, watch the water sprout. Na means Nawan in the Hebrew. English definition of Nawan is sprout. I'll give y'all a minute and then I'll start the next letter. All right, Hebrew. The next letter is Sa. S-A. Sa. So far we've covered which is a lot. Ba, is a lot in the Hebrew. English definition is cow. Ba in the Hebrew is bayath. English definition means tent. Ga in the Hebrew is gamal. English definition is camel. Da in the Hebrew is delath. And the English definition for delath means door. Ha in the Hebrew is hana. And the English definition for hana is here. Wa in the Hebrew is wawa. English definition for wawa is fishing hook. Za in the Hebrew is zayan. And the English definition of zayan is weapon. Ka in the Hebrew, which is Chaa for ka, which in the Hebrew is kawama. And the definition, English definition of kawama is fence. Ta in the Hebrew is tana'ah. Tanaah. Tana'ah. And the English definition for tana'ah is basket. Yah in the Hebrew is yad. Y-A-D. Yad in the Hebrew. And the English definition for yad is hand. Kap in the Hebrew is K-A. The Hebrew word for kap is K-A-P. One definition means palm. Second definition for kap can mean spoon, depending on the context. La in the Hebrew is lamad in the Hebrew. English definition is learn. Ma in the Hebrew is mayam. English definition of mayam is water. Mayam is spelled M-A-Y-A-M. Na in the Hebrew is nawan. N-A-W-A-N. English definition for nawan is sprout. Now we're on the word sa, S-A. Yeah, I need a break because it's coming in dim on this hand. See. Oh, my. No, I wish you'd have told me, man, I've been working with you, brother. That's bright. Now I can see the board clear. They can see the board extra clear now. Oh, that's perfect. Wow. You know that. All right. Sa in the Hebrew is samak. S-A-M-A-K. Samak. And the English definition for samak is establish. You understand? Establish. Sa in the Hebrew is samak. And the English definition is to establish. I'll give y'all a moment to write that down. Sa in the Hebrew, that's S-A for samak. S-A-M-A-K. You break it down, it's sa-ma-ka. But the A is removed for grammar. So it's samak. S-A-M-A-K. Which means establish. Establish. Next letter up is I. Just the letter I. How you see it, that's what it is. I. Ayan is the word in the Hebrew. Ayan. I-Y-A-N. I-ya-na. Remove the A from the end. So it's ayan. In the English definition, it's I. So I means ayan. Ayan means eye, like your eyeball. Like your eye socket. Your eye. Israel, I pray y'all making sure y'all writing this stuff down. I means ayan in the Hebrew. And the English definition is I. We're almost done, Israel. I'm gonna give y'all a precept, break this down again, give you some more context and history of our language, and then I'll get to the last set of the letters. So that's I for Ayan, I-Y-A-N in the Hebrew. And the English word for Ayan is I. Now, for more context, again, like this is some of our oldest language. You understand? And it's very imperative that we learn this and we study this, Israel. You dig? So I pray y'all understand. It's very important that we study and we learn this. So now we go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 18. In the day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan, and swear to the Lord of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. Now, when it says one day the 5 cities in the land of Egypt will speak the language of the land of Canaan. Now, remember when I gave you a backdrop and a background of the Hebrew language in its origin, you understand? And a lot of it originated in the land of Canaan. And inside the land of Canaan, as you see, it is predominant, pretty much a dominant thing, like a dominant language, like that's the language, that's the dialect, like that's what you have to learn, especially when dealing with the Israelites. You had to speak Hebrew. In order to have enslaved us, the Africans had to, at some point, learn to speak Hebrew. Because how are they going to draw us in for them to capture us and enslave us? You understand? In order for them to enslave us, they just simply had to. You understand? They had to learn the Hebrew. All right. Now, y'all just bear with me a moment, Israel. I'm going to set up the board for the last set of the alphabet, right? Y'all bear with me. Okay, we're back, Israel. Now, to finish this out, all right, I got everything up on the board. Switch the camera. Background out. Oh, there we go. Here we go. All right. Y'all get y'all notebooks ready, all right? We at the finish line. I'm proud of y'all. Let's see. Young man Hector said, is that the pure language described in Zechariah 3:9? Well, let's see. Let's go to Zechariah 3:9 real quick, shall we? Damn, young man Hector, you on fire even on in the Hebrew class. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see, 3:9. For there's the book of Zechariah, chapter 3, verse 9. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Joshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave the engraving thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of the land in one day. Let's see. Oh no, not Zechariah. You said Zephaniah at 3:9. That's why I'm looking. I'm like, Salakia. And I got my glasses on because I'm. Gotta excuse me, young man Hector. I'm trying to get through the last little bit of the class. Let's see. It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 3. It's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 9. For them will I turn to the people of pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord, to serve him with one consent. Yes, that's what that means. When they say pure language, they're talking about the Hebrew language. Because they wouldn't be talking about whatever dialect they speak in English, in you know what I mean, in Africa. They wouldn't be talking about no French or Patois or Creole. That didn't exist until way later on in history. You understand? They wouldn't be sitting there talking about any other dialect other than the Hebrew language. Young man, they talking exact that precept is perfect pertaining to the Hebrew language. I'm gonna put that in my precept book. Wow. All right, next letter up, Pa. Pa. In the Hebrew, it's Pa, P-A-H. Now, if you break it down, it'll be Pa, Ha, but you remove the A for grammar. So it's Pa, P-A-H. And the English definition for Pa is mouth. Mouth. So that's Pa. For Pa in the Hebrew, and the English definition is mouth. Next letter up is Tazah. Tazah in the Hebrew is Tazad. So it's Tazada, but it's Tazad, which means English definition is side. Tazad is the Hebrew word, T-A-Z-A-D, and the English definition is side. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky pronouncing it. Now, it's not qua because there's no U, so it's kara. It's pronounced kara. Q-A, kara. The Hebrew word is Quran. Q-A-M, Quran. That's how it's pronounced, Quran. The English definition, the English word for that is rise. Quran Tazad. Rise on your side. You understand? Quran, which is Quran in the Hebrew. English definition, rise. Next word, Ra. Ra in the Hebrew is Ra'ash. Ra'ash. R-A-A-S-H. When you break it down, it's Ra, Ah with the H removed, and Shah with the A removed. So it's Ra'ash in the Hebrew. The English definition of Ra'ash is head. You understand? Ra'ash in the Hebrew, head in the English. So that's Ra for Ra'ash in the Hebrew, English definition, head. Next letter up is Shah. Shah, S-H-A. The Hebrew word for Shah is Shan. Shan, S-H-A-N. So it'll be Shah-na. Remove the A for grammar. So it's Shun. In the Hebrew, in the English, word for Shun is tooth. Shah is Shun in the Hebrew, and the English definition is tooth. Tha in the Hebrew is thaw. T-H-A-W. It'll be thawa. Remove the A, so it's thaw. And the English word for thaw is mark. M-A-R-K, mark. Like X marks the spot. So thaw is thaw in Hebrew, and the English word is tha. And that, Israel, is the Hebrew alphabet. A, B, G, D, Ha, W, Z, K, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, A, Pa, Tiza, Kara, Ra, Sha, Tha. That's it in its entirety. If you have any questions, hold them for next week's class. I'll be able to do another extent breakdown on the alphabet itself. And not only that, I'll write out the full alphabet. I'll not only write out the full alphabet, but I'll write it down in the Hebrew and in the Assyrian and break it down for you that way. This is just the full breakdown of each letter, what the letter means in the Hebrew and what it means in the English. Next week, I'm going to write out the alphabet with the Assyrian and the Hebrew lettering, and you'll be able to read it in its entirety, in its completion. And you're going to learn, I'm going to teach you how to read it right to left. So it's Abba, Gada, Ha, Waza, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, A, Pa, Taza, Kara, Ra, Sha, Tha. And you'll be able to read it from right to left. You understand? Well, that's today's Hebrew lesson for today. Tune in tomorrow for the Sabbath service. And I look forward to seeing y'all again next week. And with that, Israel, shalom.